In this video I will talk about one of the other enumerators of for each loop, which is ADO.NET Schema Rowset Enumerator. This is one of the tutorial videos of SSIS 2012 Integration Services. I'm Reza Rad, SQL Server MVP, author and trainer. First of all, ADO.NET Schema Rowset Enumerator provides ability to loop through schema and metadata of the data source. This kind of metadata and schema can be in forms of, for example, looping through all tables under the specific database, views and sales schema under the database, all system database, foreign keys, relationship, indexes, any kind of actually metadata and schema collections can be looped through with this enumerator. And list of items can be filtered as well. I show you as a sample. Before going to that sample, for SQL Server, the schema and metadata will be loaded based on information schema views. Information schema views are kind of views that provides metadata information for SQL Server database. You can select information from those views directly from Management Studio or any kind of other SQL Server browsers. For the sample of this, we will use AdventureWorks database. We will loop through all tables under the AdventureWorks 2012 database that has sales schema, and then we export all of those into CSV files. Please note that the structure of tables are different, so we cannot use data flow because data flow is based on metadata. There is no dynamic metadata in the data flow right now. So we use, for this example, we use BCP. BCP is command for exporting SQL Server data into the CSV. I will show you how to use this. Okay, for the sample, I created a new package, an empty package. Now I want to loop through loop through tables of the SQL Server database. I drag and drop for each loop container here. I rename this to loop through sales, or let's change it to sales schema tables. Before doing that, I create variables named db of type string and schema of type string as well, table name string, and type, which is string as well. Okay, now I double click on the for each loop. In the collection tab, I choose enumerator as ADO.NET Schema Rowset Enumerator. When I choose that enumerator, you can see that there is a connection option here. We can create a new connection to a database or any kind of data source. The new connection should be a kind of OLEDB connection, so I choose OLEDB connection for SQL Server, and I choose my local instance and AdventureWorks 2012 database. Okay, now here you can see that list of information schema views that listed here can be seen. The tables provide information about tables, and there are other information as well, views, schemas, foreign keys, indexes. If you search for information schema views in SQL Server in the web, you can see that there are many information schema views, that each of these views provides information. For example, tables provide information about each table, what is the catalog, what is the schema, name, table type. So here we can access those information through these. So for this one I choose tables because I want to get list of tables. Then I can filter this. I go to set restriction, and here I can say that okay, table catalog, which is database name, I want this to be AdventureWorks 2012. If I do not I should check this as well. If I do not select this, this will loop through all databases that the current user or the user that runs SQL Server, that runs SSIS package has access to that instance. And then I want schema to be sales, and then table type to be table. I choose this table because there are user tables, there are system tables, so I just choose table. Okay, so this is the filter conditions, and then in variable mapping I can assign output result set to the variables in the package. What is the result set for this schema? This is based on the schema. For example, for tables, the result set is these 4 columns provided as a result set. So the first one will be catalog, then schema, name, and type. So I use those for mapping. I choose DB for the first one, which is catalog, then schema, then table name, and finally type. It should be type actually. Okay. Now this loops through that. Before going further, I want to use the BCP command to actually export this information. A sample of BCP command is here. BCP command is a command line tool that provide ability to export. For example, if you look at this, we export sys object information out to this location, to sysobjects.txt file, and this is the delimiter file delimited by comma and the server name is dot. This means that local server name, and this is actually the Windows authentication, and then we will run this. For running this from SQL Server Management Studio, we will use XP-cmd shell. So for doing that, we need to enable XP-cmd shell because this is not enabled by default. This command will actually enable the XP-cmd shell. I've run this before. So what I want to do is just creating this command dynamically based on the table name and the file name as well in SSIS. So I put expression task here, and I renamed this to generate SQL Command. And here I also create a variable named SQL Command of type string. Okay. Now here I want to set that SQL command variable with the expression. Sorry, it should be equal. Okay, what I do, declare SQL varchar 8000 select. From this part I should change. I do not want the database name to be master. I want this to be fetched from the DB. So I change it like this. I put DB here, and I have schema name here. Sorry. I have a schema name here, so I bring the schema as well. And then for the table name, I bring table name variable here. So database name, schema, table, out. Here I want to put the output directory path. So I should create a directory path variable here. I just Okay, before doing that, I just create a directory path variable. Directory path variable of type string. I want to load those files into this location. So I set directory path as this. I go back here. I go back here. And I should create this command again. I put this inside the I put this inside double quote. The problem with this one is because of these backslash. Okay, now I want to put the result into SQL Command variable, and I also want to change these again. First one to the DB, second one schema, and the third one table name. And then I want to add directory path here, and I name this file with CSV extension, and name of file also should come from table name variable. Okay, this is what we need to set up here. As I evaluate this, you can see that because there is no file name, no table name, schema, and DB name, this already shows as this, but if we run this at runtime, this will be filled. So I use an execute SQL task after this. I rename this to export table to CSV. For each of tables we need to run this, so I put that in here. I create a new OLEDB connection. This should be connected to AdventureWorks database. And the source coming from a variable. The variable is SQL Command. Okay, now this is our loop structure. When I run this, this will loop through all tables and will generate files. This finished soon, so let me check why this finished soon. I put a breakpoint here. Breakpoints are good to find out values of your variables in each iteration. I run this again. Now I can bring variables into the watch window. Here I can see that the DB name fetched correctly, the schema, and then table name. So this is our first table name. Then we have a SQL command. I want to see how SQL command generated, so I put another breakpoint here on post execution of this one. And this is SQL command generated here. So I can track what is wrong with that SQL command. I just dropped the metadata stuff. So here we can see that there is an /n, which is not required here, and also here. So I just stop this. I will change that SQL command, and I remove those extra stuff. Now I remove breakpoints. This is also good practice to show how to debug your packages. Okay, let's put the breakpoint here again on post execute, and again copy that, put it here, I should be able to execute this directly from here, and here it shows me what is the cause of this error. Okay, this is because xp-cmd shell is not enabled. I thought that this is enabled, so let's enable this again. Oh, sorry, I want to run this on this server. A non-argument server. AdventureWorks sell out. A non-argument server, this is, I think, yes, this is because of the string here should be in a double quote because it contains spaces. Yep, if I run this, this will create the file. So I remove this file. I should add those double quotes in the string here as well. So I stop this, I remove this breakpoint as well, and I going to add that before starting the path. Path is here, so I should add an extra double quote here. Because double quote is a reserved character, so I use escape character, which is / and then double quote. So it start at here and it finish at here, so I put again / for escape character and double quote. This will generate, as you can see, this will generate the double quote like this. So now files folder are empty, and I execute this, and you can see that all files generated with this loop structure. If I go to any of these files, there will be data rows in each file that loaded, actually exported from the database. So this is this was a sample of using SSIS package for each loop with ADO.NET Schema Rowset Enumerator. And as you can see, if we used tables, if for example we use views, then you can see that output schema is different, output metadata is different. So we can use any of these, we can map those into variables, and then we can use expressions and dynamism to actually build a dynamic structure like this. So as a result, in this sample, you learn how to use this loop structure. The best scenario for this loop structure is to looping through metadata and schema from the source, which you can connect with this connection provider. Output for each schema can be different based on the information provided, and a loop through this can be narrowed with the filtering that can be applied. Filtering also can be applied with variables as well.